Hello everyone, it's time for us to talk about the best games of the year, at least in terms of what I think. So just know this isn't like the best games of the year that we all think. It's my thoughts. I'm going to give you my favorite 5 games that I played this year, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I like them. I think the top one's gonna be a very hot take, so just know that I know that, and of course, everyone is entitled to have their own opinions. We can always discuss, but let's just try to keep the discussions civil, shall we, as we do. I'd love to know what your favorite game is, if you want to let me actually know down in the comments and see if maybe you can guess what I put at the top spot before we get there. So let's start this off with the first game, which is Silent Hill 2 Remake. Now, I had never played Silent Hill 2, so for me, this game was very, very horrifying and very interesting, and I thought just very well done. The anxiety I feel playing it, the music in the game, the sound design in the game, all aspects of it are just so well done, and I really enjoy the story. Even though, you know, I knew my wife was not in Silent Hill, I knew it wasn't gonna go well. I basically know the story of Silent Hill, but I don't know like all of the story beats, so getting to experience those firsthand was amazing. But yeah, I know of Silent Hill through, you know, the first movie. I really enjoyed that film. So getting to fight against some of these iconic monsters is awful and great at the same time. And getting to meet some of these crazy characters, goodness knows there's a bunch of them in this game. So it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. Have I finished the game yet? Have I finished any games yet? No, but I am excited to finish it and to go back and do that, and also do it all while wearing the Mira mask, which I love. Number 2 on my list is one that I've been playing a lot of, and now while I haven't finished this game, there will be no end to this game, I hope, because it's so fun. This next one is Marvel Rivals. So Marvel Rivals, I played the beta. I initially actually was very skeptical of Marvel Rivals when it came out. I was like, so what is this? Basically Marvel Overwatch? What are we doing here? I wasn't sure how I felt about a lot of the designs and the look of the game. I played the beta, then the beta was super fun, and I was like, well, wait a minute now. But initially I was one of the people, admittedly, that was saying, do we need this? And then after playing it, I was like, maybe we do need this. This is really fun. And now, having played it when it's fully released, playing the full game, yeah, it's a really good time. However, I do feel like there have been some controversies surrounding this game in terms of just the way some things have been dealt with. There was the whole thing when they were bringing in content creators initially. Also, I did apply to be a content creator, but they haven't approved me yet. So Marvel Rivals, if you're watching this, I want to work with you. But they did have a thing initially with the content creators where they basically said, you know, you can't say anything bad about the game, and you had to like sign all this stuff saying that like you wouldn't say anything bad. And I thought that was a little much, because I do think you should be allowed to speak honestly about it. But speaking honestly about Marvel Rivals, it's just great. And I think what I really like about it is how easy it is to pick up and play, how fun the team elements of the game are, especially when you're playing with friends. I mean, it is addictive in the sense that I always just want to do one more match and one more match and one more match. They also brought my boy Jeff in it. If you guys don't know, I've been a Jeff the Landshark fan since like 2020 in the comics. So to see Jeff come into the game and now to see this global phenomena that's happening with Jeff where everyone loves Jeff the Landshark, as a Jeff fan, I'm just so happy to have more people in the Jeff fandom. So that has been really awesome. So to get to see Jeff in this game, to get to just experience some of the synergy I've been enjoying. I actually have liked a lot of the designs. The more I've played, the more I've kind of warmed up to the art style in the game. I will say I do feel like the skins are kind of expensive, and I do feel that some of the voice acting could be a bit better. Not all characters, but some characters. But then again, I also do love some of the deep cuts that we get with some of these voice lines. Like, they really love a lot of these characters, I feel. There's just a passion for the world that I think was beautifully put into the game and its design. So yeah, Some maps, though, I do hate. I do never want to go to Clintar. Clintar can go suck an egg for... I don't care. I don't want to go. I don't want to go there. I know Null is cool. I know symbiotes are cool. But Clintar, that map sucks for me. So there are maps I love and maps that I'm not as fond of. But overall, I would say, even with that, I think they've worked out a lot of the problems I had with the maps when I played in the beta. Overall, the game, they've just improved it. And if you haven't played it yet, it is free to play. It's really fun. The skins are a little expensive, but you get a lot when you get a bundle. And here's the thing, it's free to play. So whenever something's free to play, if they want to charge me a little bit more for skins, I'm not usually super mad about it because I get a whole gaming experience for free and all the characters are there and are available. I don't know if it's going to stay that way, but I hope it does because yeah, it's a fun time. And, you know, this is the first kind of style of game like this that I feel I've really actually taken to and gotten into and wanted to keep playing it. I don't usually play a lot of, you know, third-person shooter, like, team-based games. It's not usually my jam, but this one's my jam. Give me Marvel characters and I will come. So let's talk about my next game on the list, Balatro. So Balatro is a roguelike deck builder. Super fun. If you don't know, I actually did a little video on it too because it recently got like an adult rating because it's got poker elements in it, even though it's nothing like poker. If you like poker, it does not mean that you will like Balatro, I think. And I did a whole video talking about how silly that was. But regardless of the silly ratings it's been getting, this game is straight fire, and I think all ages should be allowed to play it because it is so fun and there's so much. It's just very like, it's a very juicy game. That's not exactly the word I'm looking for, but there's a lot to sink your teeth into with this. It's very easy to pick it up and start playing it. It is a deck builder card-based game. So what are you doing? You are basically starting off with a deck of cards, and then you are getting new cards, new jokers and things to add in there. You can also modify your deck, and you're basically trying to turn your deck into something that you can use to take out bosses, boss blinds at the end of a round, kind of. So you're playing through matches, trying to build up your deck, beef it up to the point that you can take out bosses. Bosses will also have certain abilities. It's very crunchy. That's the word I'm looking for. Crunchy and juicy. This sounds like I'm gonna eat Balatro. I would eat Balatro if it were a food because it is delicious as a game. It's perfect, and I just feel like if you are a person that likes deck builders, this is a game for you. I love digital deck builders too because they just add something else, and there's a level of randomness to this game. Like, there is just so much variety in terms of replayability and getting back in there again. Have I finished Balatro? I mean, you don't really finish Balatro, I don't think. This is just a game you keep playing. It's like Slay the Spire. If you like Slay the Spire, I think you'll like this game. I've only played a little bit of Slay the Spire, but I loved that, and I've only played a bit of Balatro, to be honest with you, only a few hours, but I already know it's one of my favorite games of the year because that's how good it is, and I want to play more. I should play more right now. Why am I doing this video? I could be playing Balatro. Next up, we've got Palworld, and Palworld is not a game I ever would have thought would have made this list based on the concept of it, but it's so fun. It's weirdly fun. I actually just went back to it because they had their big update, which I believe is called Faybreak. I unfortunately was not able to explore all of the Faybreak stuff because I'm not far enough along in the game, but even just going back to the game and getting to work on my base and getting to go out there and, you know, get some pals with my pal spheres, it's really fun. And I know that this game kind of gets a rap for just being kind of a rip-off of Pokemon, but I do think it's doing something that's just really different than any Pokemon game has done. It has a survival crafting element to it. It's a cool world. It's fun to play with friends, and the fact that you can just have weapons and do raids and stuff like that is insane. It is kind of, I think, what we've all wanted out of a Pokemon game for a while, but haven't been getting. So this was very fun to play, and I was surprised by how much it held me in its gaming embrace. It is the type of game that I think you would assume, you know, you play it for a bit and you kind of get tired of it. And while I do think this is a game that has its ebb and flows, it's not quite like Balatro for me in terms of the nature to which I want to play, how much I want to play Palworld. But when I'm in Palworld, I really don't want to stop playing. It's hard for me to put down because I just have so much fun. And with crafting games, I'm always like, oh, let me just do one more thing. Let me just do one more thing when they're good. And this is great. This is a great little crafting survival game that I think you will enjoy. And they also have tons of customized settings. I haven't been playing with any of those, but I know a lot of people have been loving the customized settings, so you can really customize the game for what kind of experience you want to play or what you really enjoy in it. And I can't wait to see how much more stuff they add in terms of just building buildings and stuff like that. I love designing buildings and doing interior design and stuff like that in games, so it'll be really cool to see what they add and just how many cool things we can craft in the world as it continues and expands. Next up, finally, my number one, my top game of the year, it's Star Wars Outlaws. And I know this is gonna be a hot take for a lot of people, but let me explain why I feel this way about it. Now, I actually did a Star Wars Outlaws review. I filmed a review a while ago. I haven't put it out yet because one of the things I forgot to talk about in it is some of the glitches I experienced. But it was because even with those glitches, they didn't come to my mind because there's just so much in this game that I loved. So, I mean, if you guys want that review, or if you want that review, maybe I'll just do an addendum where I talk about some of the glitches I did experience just to give you my full experience on it. Let me know, because I'd love to talk about Star Wars Outlaws more. I really did enjoy it, but I think what really shone in that game for me, what really stood out in Star Wars Outlaws for me is that it is a game where I felt I was really in the world of Star Wars. And as someone that's been a Star Wars fan for a long time, it just felt magical to be there. It gave me a little bit of the vibes that I got when playing Hogwarts Legacy. And as someone that's been a fan of the franchise, just getting to be in the world, it's just magical. It's just so cool. So getting to see just even some of the landscapes, even those spots where you can just stand and kind of look out, I could do that all day. And let's not forget my favorite part of Star Wars Outlaws, Sabacc. I love playing Sabacc. You already know from me talking about Balatro and Slay the Spire how much I love card games. And if you don't know, if you haven't noticed, I happen to have some piles of board games that are behind me. This isn't even close to the amount of board games I own, by the way. I think I own over 200 at this point. And I love card games a lot, especially deck builders and especially bluffing card games. And Sabacc is a game in the Star Wars universe. If you don't know it, it is basically a bluffing game, kind of similar to poker. There are a lot of different ways to actually play Sabacc. In this version of Star Wars Outlaws, we are playing Kessel Runner. I believe Sabacc, I think is what it's called. So it is one form of it, but there are many different ones. So if you aren't familiar with this form, you're like, this isn't Sabacc. There's actually, I think, over 80 different types of Sabacc in the world, which is crazy. It's really fun though. I really just love the bluffing elements of the game. I love that we get to sit at a table with other characters and play off each other. I love that there's ways that you can cheat that they built into it. Honestly, Star Wars Outlaws just made me want Sabacc the game, so I don't know if they're thinking of doing Sabacc Tournament the game or something, the ultimate galaxy tournament. I would play the heck out of that game. So if they want to do that, please do that. Now, Star Wars Outlaws does have its problems, I will admit, but ultimately it's just that the wonder of the world, my joy playing Sabacc, and the fun that I have as K-Vess running around with Nyx, the little food mini games they built in for Nyx that are super cute, and all of the little stories that we get to explore, the different worlds we get to explore. It's just super cool. And even though, yes, I do have problems with some of the rogue aspects in this game, some of the stealth stuff, which thankfully, they did remove some stuff so that it's not that if you get caught, you fail out the mission. So you can sometimes go in guns a-blazing when you want to, because sometimes the way that these sneaky stealth missions are set up, it just feels impossible. And I thought I just sucked at it, honestly. I was like, you know what? Maybe I suck. Maybe I gotta take one here and just admit maybe I'm no good at it. But no, I know a lot of other people have been having problems with it. I know I'm not alone. So it is the game, and I do wish that was an aspect of the game that was just, I don't know, more play tested more. They just needed some refinement. It's got a cool idea of giving you multiple different ways to handle a stealth mission, but the worst thing is when it feels like all paths just lead to failure. Which I have experienced before, and sometimes there are things in the game that are not very clear, I will also say. Maybe I am just a big dum-dum, but I don't think I'm a big dum-dum. I'm usually pretty good at like puzzle games. I'm usually pretty intuitive and inquisitive. I mean, in Silent Hill 2, there was a puzzle. I didn't even know how to solve the puzzle, but just because I was observing clocks, I was able to figure that puzzle out. Just based on other things I had observed in the world, I was able to figure that one out. So I do feel that it's not as intuitive sometimes as it could be, and that is another issue, and I did have some glitches, so nothing super major, but I'm pretty sure I like fell through the floor at one point. I had a glitch where I couldn't save. Even when I got out of combat, it wouldn't let me save, so that was a problem. I did have a glitch where I couldn't get to an area that I had unlocked, where I had like basically hacked a shield to get into a room, and even though I'd hacked it, it just wouldn't open. Granted, that being said, I didn't experience a ton of glitches. These things each happened to me maybe a handful of times total. So not a ton of glitches for me. I was playing it on Xbox. I don't know if that matters for all of these, actually. Maybe I should go through and say that. So I played Star Wars Outlaws on Xbox. I played Palworld on PC. I've also played Palworld on Xbox though, but I think I prefer it on PC. Balatro is on PC, Marvel Rivals is on PC, and Silent Hill 2 Remake also on PC. Played a lot of games on PC, more games on PC than Xbox this year. So that's kind of my thoughts. There were other games that I liked this year, obviously, that did not make this cut just because there was a lot that I loved. I actually didn't have a ton of games that I didn't like, but I did have one. So maybe I'll do a video just on that because I had one that I really detested. Or maybe I'll leave that for members. Stay tuned, and I will talk more about games soon. Let me know your thoughts on these games, kind of what you're thinking of it. And if you don't know, I stream live. And if you want to check out one of my live VODs that I have up, if you want to watch me play some of these games, I'll put one up here and you can, or over here somewhere, it'll be here or something. You can check it out. You can give it a watch. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you were loving this year, what you were not loving this year that you played. If you have a platform that you found you preferred this year or anything that you learned about yourself as a gamer this year. I find that's always super interesting. We can learn so much about ourselves through the games we play. I'll see you next time, but until then, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye!